The number of homeless public school students is rising. State data shows that 1 in 10 students do not have a place to call home.
There are more than 100,000 students in the New York City public school system who are homeless. That is considered a crisis. But on top of that, there is a report that says more than 64% of those children are chronically absent from school.
A district in the Bronx had the most homeless students at over 10,000. In one school, over 40% of the students had been homeless at some point over the past 4 years.
Every year I can remember, I've seen headlines about the extraordinary number of homeless students in New York City public schools. This year in particular, the city schools have the mounting challenge of welcoming a growing number of recent migrants who are entering a youth shelter system that doesn't even have enough beds. So we decided it was time to get into the issue of youth homelessness. And here with me is my colleague, Abe Levine, who reported and produced the story we're bringing to you today.
Hey Sabrina, how are you?
Good to see you, my man. So, Abe, with youth homelessness being such a huge issue, where did you start?
So, roughly 10% of New York City students are housing insecure. Within the DOE, there's an office dedicated to ensuring that these students get registered for school and receive the complete support that they're guaranteed under federal law. And in that office, I found one man who has put these students' education at the center of his life's work.
Tell me more.
What I really wanted to learn from him is, what do the on-the-ground supports look like for youth experiencing homelessness?
Yes, and I know our student reporter, Fredlove, was able to join you.
That's right. Fredlove and I did the interview together, and we quickly realized that this guy was not your typical bureaucrat.
Not your typical bureaucrat. Okay, now I'm intrigued. Let's roll the story.
Any categorization that a traditionalist gives me, I take it as a compliment. Anytime some traditionalist, some status quo categorize me as, troublemaker or whatever, you paying me a compliment. I don't want to be a part of the old boys network. I'm glad I'm not down with y'all.
You like standing on the margins.
I live on the margins.
I'm Abe Levine, one of the producers here at Miseducation. Wayne Harris is a regional manager in the DOE's Office of Students in Temporary Housing. He manages programming and in-school supports for students experiencing homelessness in North Brooklyn. Student reporter Fredlove Deshommes and I went on a mission to talk with Wayne about his work. We found Wayne at DOE headquarters in downtown Brooklyn. We really had to yank him out of his cubicle to start the conversation.
Yeah, I need background music. It's like I need theme music. Don't ask me what song is playing. I just need something, man. The beat, the drum, the rhythm. Right? Something.
To get started, we wanted to understand more where Wayne came from and how he found his way into this work.
We know you've dedicated your career to working with young people in need. What early life experiences led you to this work?
As a kid, maybe 20, 21 years old, a couple of young guys from our community were very interested in doing things for younger guys. So we did a lot of volunteer work in our neighborhood community center. And then after we became owners of a neighborhood business, we sold beepers. This will sound weird to me now. Beepers, cellular phones. And we did movie rentals. You get the VHS, see, that's before you.
That's where we put the crickets in.
And it was a video arcade, and young people were always at our store. So we just started doing more and more with them. We decided to do trips. Let's take these young people on a trip. Let's take them to visit a college. Let's take them to visit Railway State Prison, Scared Straight program. Let's take them to the Blacks and Wax Museum. So then we would get young people asking about, how do I get back in school? Or help me deal with this problem. So next thing you know, I was really connected to the young people in our community.
When Wayne started working with youth full-time, he wanted to create affirming spaces.
A big thing in building culture is establishing a place where we can have unconditional positive regard. It's a judgment-free zone. So it's just unconditional support. It's loving who you are, loving the skin that you're in.
As a young person, he learned how being treated like an outsider can push kids out of school.
So I grew up in the newly integrated Canarsie. Yeah. It was really challenging for a kid from public housing to go to school in a neighborhood other than his own. So there was a lot of anger. There was a lot of fear back when I was a young person. So it may have shown up in my life as resistance. It may have shown up. What definitely showed up in my life was a lack of empathy and understanding by the adults in the building. You know, there were some incidents in school where I definitely was treated unfairly. But I definitely can understand why a young person is angry going to school, especially if they're expected to be some type of beacon of hope, and it's not.
One of Wayne's responsibilities is finding interventions for students who are at risk of dropping out. This is where Wayne partners with schools to support students.
The Department of Education provides supports to help young people continue to go to school despite being homeless and to do well in school despite being homeless.
Wayne's work is essential in carrying out the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act, a federal law which mandates that homeless students be enrolled in school and receive the assistance they need to remain there and be successful.
The pillars of the act around students is to make sure that young people can be admitted or enrolled in school without any of the traditional documents that others would have. For example, when you go enroll in school now, they ask for a lease, they ask for a utility bill. Well, if a homeless kid shows up in school with his parent and they say, I'm homeless and I have nothing, that young person must be enrolled immediately and receive instruction immediately. Not come back next week, not go get a letter from this person enrolled in school. And the spirit of that law is that with all the turmoil and trauma that the young person is experiencing, how we can best support him is that he goes to school.
Can you give us like a typical day in your life?
A typical day in my life? I don't think that's one of the things that I love about this work. No 2 days are ever the same. Every student is different. For example, the other day, had a young man, he was wavering in school. Being homeless can throw the whole idea of attending school out the window. But he said he wanted to be a lawyer. So I had him meet me here in the office, and I introduced him to a lawyer. He never met a lawyer before, someone that looks like him, had a similar background. They were raised in the same kind of environment, and it made it real for him.
Outside of school, Wayne also heads up enrichment programs, which he started.
I created a program 15 years ago called Simba Academy. Simba is an acronym. It means Safe in My Brother's Arms.
And there's also the sister program, All Sisters Evolving Together, or ASET.
It provides out-of-school support exclusively for homeless students. They realized that they weren't the only ones going through these situations. They supported each other, and they received supports together, whether it was Regents Prep, SAT Prep, college trips, and even some enrichment activities. We play golf. We do have a rule. It's called NBA. No basketball allowed. What does it take to roll a basketball out for some young black males? I think that's irresponsible. I have to expose them to things that they normally couldn't walk past. The young people in our music class, they created 2 full-length albums. And music is throughout many of our efforts to document our movement.
Bigger and better. Oh, sisters evolving together. Safe in my brother's arms. We putting on. We do it bigger and better. It's time to be bigger and better.
Sisters, link up. We got a past and we're going up. Don't think about, just be about. Don't let them players play ya. I'm ASCT. They wanna be like me. College bound, job found.
Beyond the day-to-day, Wayne explained that the number of students experiencing homelessness troubles him, and it's not getting better.
Well, there's well over 100,000 students in all the categories of homelessness. I think it's around 114,000 this year. But we're generally over 100,000 and have been so for multiple consecutive years.
On a scale from 1 to 10, 1 being refined, 10 being crisis, where would you say we are?
Well, I've never had less children. I've been doing this for 15 years, and I've never had less children becoming homeless. So if the question is, are we experiencing a crisis with the amount of students becoming homeless every year? Yeah, I would say yes. The amount of students who are experiencing homeless in New York City outnumbers the amount of residents that are in Albany, our state capital.
What are some prejudice and stereotypes about homelessness that we need to debunk?
You know, we say something must have been wrong with them, that they suffer from mental health experiences, or they're a threat to themselves and others. When we say homeless, that they are without homes, like they have no place to stay. Well, there is a category of homelessness called doubled up, where you avoid going into the shelter by combining houses. The doubled up housing status is the largest homeless category experienced by students in our city.
Meanwhile, Wayne is tending to the long-lasting relationships that stand the test of time. He continues to look back to guide the way forward.
I see their faces. I have memories. I've watched them turn their lives around. I've watched them pivot.
This approach to continuing a circle of relationships is embedded in Wayne's work.
We have mentorship programs called the Sankofa Mentoring Program that's providing services inside schools to homeless students. And who better to mentor a homeless student than another homeless student who succeeded in that environment? Well, we have a space where all those alumni come back and they're in schools providing mentorship to other young people now. So we've created like a wheel within a wheel, a city within a city, a community within a community, but it's one of support for students who are experiencing the most marginalization in our city.
Have there ever been a time that you just wanted to give up?
The challenges that I go through to do this work is nothing in comparison to the challenge that the young people that I serve and support are experiencing to get to school. I've never wanted to give up, never.
We'll continue to follow the many issues related to student homelessness in New York City schools. If you have a story to share or just want to add your perspective to the conversation, shoot us an email at podcast@bellvoices.org. This episode was reported by Miseducation intern Fredlove Deshommes and me, Abe Levine, Miseducation fellow. I also mixed and produced it. The music you heard came from Blue Dot Sessions and the youth of Simba and a set in the Building Beats program. Cricket chirps were courtesy of Das Gets Brought on freesounds.org. Learn more about this podcast and opportunities for youth journalists at bellvoices.org or check out our Instagram page, Miseducation Pod. That's Miseducation Pod. Catch y'all next week.
I'm ASCT, they wanna be like me. College bound, job found, independent lady. I'm a role model, I kept my smart, I play my part.
What's bothering you?
I'm stressed out and y'all wasting time. I swear y'all teachers be blowing mine with detentions and suspensions. Wanna call my house like I don't grind, so I walk the horse. Cut class, y'all give mad work, that's why I don't pass. This school right here full of crazy stuff, but who really cares when you think I'm bad?
I hear everything that you're saying, but this is your life and you need to stop playing. You think we be hating? You need to see school as a job cause we paying. Simba here is about that. If you got heart, they hold that. If you got a role, just play that. You wanna be your king, then be that.